This is a city that never sleeps. In the light of day or the dark of night, things are moving. In New York City, time feels faster. It can certainly feel like that when everything is fine, when jobs are secured, and family has functions. When there is no problem putting food on the table, when there is a roof over the head. But it is not always like that.
Well, I used to have a job. I used to work for the government actually, but I got sick and I couldn't work. And then after a while, my sick leave ran out, and then my father committed suicide. My mother got cancer, and there's 6 kids in my family. I'm the oldest, and I don't know. Shit just happened, and I lost my mom's house. My brothers and sisters went out to California. They're with my grandparents now, and been looking for work, but it's really hard, especially when you don't have like an address and a cell phone and stuff. It's hard to find a job. I tried staying at the shelter, but like when you're a girl, it's hard. A lot of people harass you and stuff. People steal your stuff, and I had this guy trying to attack me the other night. So like I'm not going back there. So yeah, like my own place would be really nice. There's a lot of programs out there, but it's like there's so much like bureaucracy. There's so much stuff you have to go through and all these steps, and then it's like the things they do offer. It's hard, if you don't, I don't know. It's like I applied for all this stuff, I'm waiting on it, they never get back to me, there's never anyone answering the phone, there's never anyone there, it's long lines, like it's a long process, and there's not always someone there to talk to about it.
According to the New York Times, the homeless population continued to grow in New York City. Bonnie Stone, President and CEO of Women in Need, a non-profit organization in New York City.
Well, the reasons vary enormously, from pure economic reasons. Somebody gets evicted from a home and has no place to go. Somebody is mentally ill and on the streets because of that. Then there are kids who run away from home for a variety of reasons. And then there are families who are running away because of domestic violence. There's pure economic reasons, lost a job and have no money, a bad move that came along and then failed, and depression. People find themselves unable to cope. But the big reasons are for men and for single men and single women, the big reasons are mental illness and substance abuse or alcohol abuse. And for families, the biggest reason is domestic violence and then economics. So our doors are wide open. If you're homeless in a family, then you are welcome in a WIN shelter. This is a graphic, a picture really of a holistic approach to homelessness, which we endorse and which we practice. And it starts with giving somebody a place to live. And then it moves across all of these issues depending on what their needs are. So it moves from child care services to life skills, to health and wellness, education, motivation, employment for sure, and then permanent home. And that's what we mean by holistic. And you can see under each of these categories there's a whole slew of things that can happen. And so we prepare a program for every single family that comes in and find out what they need along this line and provide it. The single biggest myth is that homelessness is a deranged or alcoholic man living on the street. And that is true. There are some, but 80% of the homeless are women and children, and people don't know that. First of all, nobody anticipates being homeless. So I don't think you can plan for homelessness. I think people plan to have a life, and they either do or they fail or there's a momentary failure. But New York City is incredibly kind. It seems, we look at ourselves as a rough, tough city. But in fact, with regards to homelessness, we are very, very, very kind. So anybody in New York City who is homeless or finds themselves in that space is entitled to have a place to live, actually. It may not be the best of places or their own place, but there's a firm, hard, legal commitment to house every single homeless person in New York City, which is amazing. And I think most amazing is that promise was made over 30 years ago, and it's been kept ever since.
Is this a part of the homelessness policy in New York City?
It's more than policy.
Okay.
There was a lawsuit in 1981 that was settled in what's called the consent decree, and it has now become law, so local law. So every single person has a right to shelter in New York, which is different from any other place in the country.
So you said that all residents of New York are entitled to shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Then why is it that there are people who are still choosing to live on the street if that's the case?
Yeah, that's probably they are they either have a mental illness which leaves them in a state where they're afraid to be enclosed, afraid to be inside, either because of their own mythology of safety, or they're claustrophobic or paranoid, or they have a disease that tells them not to go in. So that's one reason. And the other reason is that some people take advantage of begging, and they don't really need to be there.
There are many ways to help the homeless. However big or little, it always begins with being able to care about others.